Hello, I want to tell a story about my back and how I've overcome a really chronic back pain problem that lasted for about 3 years. It developed in my lower back, which was right about here. So here, in between, somewhere in between, like your pelvis and the bottom of your rib cage, just right out. I developed like this huge knot that was just chronic back pain was just like all around there. So, um, it was about somewhere probably like the end late 2006 when I started having symptoms sitting down, um, typing. I had a desk job, and I stopped doing crunchies. I used to work out a lot, so I stopped doing crunchies, and I really think what happened was that my my core really got weak from sitting down, and the other thing was is that my posture was really bad. So here's how I used to sit. I used to kind of sit like this. So I think that was really a sign probably of anxiety because the first thing that goes when you start getting anxiety is your posture. So here's the correct way to sit like this, a nice kind of not you're not overexerting it, but you're like this. And so I basically kind of started doing that. And years of that and years of breakdancing, and it turned chronic. I started going to a chiropractor. Chiropractor misdiagnosed leg length difference. Then I went to another chiropractor. So this is like over the course of about a year. I started swimming. I totally changed my lifestyle. Stopped running. I started swimming. Never really helped. It started getting worse and worse and worse. So I started doing my own research. I went and got an MRI. MRI didn't do anything. They even injected some uh, something into my back, which it really didn't help anything. Um, and then I started doing my own studying. I started researching a lot about osteopathy. I found a lady on YouTube who had like a huge problem and talked to her for a little bit. She went by the name of SIJ dysfunction. And she kind of turned me on to the idea that there might have been something was wrong with my SI joint. So I actually had a bunch of videos up a few years ago, and basically my pelvis was like out of alignment. My uh, one was kind of going forward, one was going back, and um, I would notice like my muscles throughout the day, they would contract and relax and kind of pull to adjust it, and eventually kind of start spasming. Um, but I thankfully from researching everything out, I found out that osteopathy was probably the best route for me. So I went to find an osteopath who was like, and osteopaths are great. I'm gonna just say this because they kind of are a physical therapist, a chiropractor, plus a doctor. So they really, and I mean I'll even throw in like kind of like a psychiatrist too because they're kind of they really see the relationship body and mind and stuff as well, which I will say I can definitely say that their um, anxiety was a huge part of this, and I think a lot of it was unconscious. When I was having the most severe pain, a lot of it was unconscious anxiety. Like I didn't really see the relationship of what was causing me anxiety, but I can say that in the aftermath of the last few years, it was anxiety. Um, so uh, I tried lots of things like uh, different kind of painkillers and stuff, and thank goodness I never got addicted to anything because when it was really bad, I almost couldn't. Standing was like about the only comfortable position, and sitting for very long it would just start spasming, and um, I started adjusting myself in a million different ways, lying on on uh, different kinds of tables and dressers, hanging my leg down. Like that was one way I would lie on a dresser and like hang my leg down. You're not. I can't really do it, but I would like hang my leg down and like put a weight on it, and so to kind of like put my sacrum back in alignment. But what helped me ultimately? Okay, first I'm gonna say it was realizing that I did have a leg length difference. So I actually do have a true leg length difference. It's 8 millimeters, and so once I started going to an osteopath, who really had the most advanced leg length difference kind of um, technique to find out leg length difference. What he did was he did the X-ray, but he also did like kind of like this geometric thing where he measured from. He took like a line from like. Let's see if I can get a. He took a line and kind of measured from here to here, but he was doing it on a. He was doing it on a an X-ray, but he was kind of doing it from the back. So um, and he would take that measurement and measure it against I don't know, there was some way that he could tell that that I had a true leg length difference. I don't actually know his technique, but um, so then I've had this in my shoe for like about a year now almost, and actually probably more like 7 or 8 months, and this uh, I think that plus my posture, correcting my posture. Seriously, it's such a little thing, but like correcting my posture over months helped enormously. Um, Also, typing the right way, like where your wrists aren't. Sometimes when people type, they have their wrists kind of like supported by like a table or something. So it's like this, which when you type, it needs to be like like this, and your hands need to be free, and your shoulders should be taking the weight. Um, so the other thing I want to say is anxiety is like huge on this. So um, I noticed this first when I started trying. I took clonazepam, and once I really got dialed into like how much anxiety was a part of it, and I started changing my lifestyle to like not having anxiety, like which kind of took a lot to do and hugely related to tradition and kind of like not being dogmatic, I guess you could say, towards tradition. Um, and really writing my way to a place where I could do that comfortably. But that was huge, and now I can definitely see the relationship body and mind. And oh, and the third thing, stretching. Stretching. I stretch regularly now. Let's see how much time I have for this. Okay, I'm gonna start another.